over LSU overshadowed when Camila Cardoso shoved LSU's flau'jae Johnson to the floor late in the fourth quarter of yesterday's SEC championship game. Gamecocks guard Malaysia Fulwiley had stolen the ball from Johnson, who wrapped her up, was called for an intentional foul. Johnson bumped USC's Ashlyn Watkins while heading to her bench, and then the 6'7" Cardoso rushed in and pushed the 5'10" Johnson to the ground. Johnson's brother came onto the floor, briefly made contact with Cardoso before being led away by security. In all, 6 players were ejected, including Cardoso. Let's hear from the coaches, Dawn Staley, Kim Mulkey.
You know, I just want to apologize to the basketball community. You know, when you're playing in championship games like this, in our league, things get heated. No bad intentions. They just tried, their emotions got so far ahead of them that sometimes these things happen. So I want to apologize for us playing a part in that, because that's not who we are and that's not what we're about.
No one wants to see that ugliness, but I can tell you this. I wish she would have pushed Angel Reese. Don't push a kid. You 6'8", don't push somebody that little. That was uncalled for, in my opinion. Let those 2 girls that were jawing, let them go at it.
Camila Cardoso apologized online, saying, "I would like to extend my sincerest apologies for my actions during today's game. My behavior was not representative of who I am as a person or the South Carolina program, and I deeply regret my discomfort or inconvenience it may have caused." Okay. Stephen A., I'll start with you. What are your thoughts following yesterday's issue on the court?
And Molly, I'd like to start with Shannon, because I know I'm passionate about it, but I know Shannon had a lot to say about this, so I want him to go first, and I'm going to piggyback off of Shannon.
Sure.
Go ahead, Shannon.
Did you see the 2 differences in the stories and the coaches? You see what Dawn Staley said and how she tried to downplay it, and you see Kim Mulkey, how she tried to upplay it. I understand this is an SEC championship game. There's a lot riding on it. LSU, if I'm not mistaken, hadn't beaten South Carolina in a very, very long time. And now we're in the SEC championship. And you know, when you take things, you mean it figuratively, not literally. Oh, we're going to fight. We're going to fight them tooth and nail. We're going to scratch and claw. We're going to do everything we can. You give nothing, you allow them to take nothing. But Kim Mulkey, instead of saying, you know what, sometimes when emotion is high, logic is low. And that was not what women's college basketball is about, especially with the love and support that the women's game has received this year. Thanks to Caitlin Clark, thanks to USC, Juju Watkins, and some of the others. But for you to take that step, I wish Cardoso would have pushed Angel Reese. Really? Is that what you want? You want to see a fight? You want the women's game to be marred by a fight? Really? Come on, Kim Mulkey. You've got to be better. And we've got to start doing a better job of holding Kim Mulkey accountable and responsible for some of her comments. We let that stuff slide because she's a national champion. I refuse to do that. I believe she was wrong in this instance. And Dawn Staley showed the utmost class and respect, not only for the game itself, but for her team and for the opposing team. I wish Kim Mulkey had showed that level of respect. But you know what? South Carolina won the game. They earned their victory. They played hard. You could tell early on in the game that Angel Reese or Cardoso, they were not going to back down. Both of these teams wanted to win the SEC championship. And unfortunately, a situation arose. Glad it did not escalate. I understand flau'jae Johnson's brother. That's his sister. Have to understand the circumstances. I've been there, bro. I understand. Sometimes you lose sight and you lose focus of where you actually are. But I'm glad, hey, nothing happened. He was escorted off the court. The women were suspended, expelled from the game. And it looks like Cardoso, she's going to probably miss the first round game. Obviously, it's a 1-16 matchup, but she's still going to miss this game. But I just wish Kim Mulkey could have taken the stance that Dawn Staley did.
Dawn Staley is a national champion
you already
herself.
know.
Dawn Staley has been to 3 consecutive Final Fours. Dawn Staley has back-to-back undefeated seasons, is 101-3 over the last 3 years, with a national championship and 3 Final Four berths on her docket, and potentially about to win another one. And so we got to look at it from that perspective and think about the credibility that she has. Yet she might have been treated significantly significantly different than Kim Mulkey had those words come out of her mouth. So Dawn Staley exercised class, and not only that, she elaborated extensively even more, y'all, when she said this: our team from last year, who was significantly more experienced, that would not have happened because we would have calmed the waters. The players would have said, no, we're not about that. Similar to Angel Reese, people are trying to insult her because she was walking away and walking to the bench saying she ain't got time for all of that instead of fighting there with her teammates, not realizing she had just rolled her ankle on the previous play. So that had a lot to do with why she was not involved in it. But we know that Angel Reese ain't running from anything, and we know what a warrior she is. And so it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what these two are going to do. These two teams are going to, I hope they face one another again. But Cardozo is going to be suspended, and she should. She knows that she was wrong to do what she did. The brother, I didn't like him jumping over the scorer's table. It was a bunch of ladies, but he didn't put his hands on anybody. He just saw his sister being harmed, and obviously it was an instantaneous reaction. So we got to give him a pass to some degree in that regard. But in the end,
absolutely,
it does come down to leadership. And when you see Dawn Staley articulate and verbalize her position, and you compare it with Kim Mulkey exercises a lot of leniency, a lot of latitude with the things that she says, almost never held accountable for them. And we know that would not apply to Dawn Staley. And so that I agree with you 1,000%, and that's why I want you to get that off your chest first.
Because if a man had said that, we would hold him accountable. But somehow Kim Mulkey has gone a long time and escaped criticism for a lot of things that she said. She's gone without criticism. And when I look at, and I remember, rest her soul, Pat Summitt, I had the opportunity of meeting her. Gino Auriemma. Can you imagine if Gino had said that?
Yeah, would have been a problem.
Let's hold Kim Mulkey to the same standard and the high levels that we hold all these other great coaches to. Dawn Staley was class on top of class times 3. In the way she says, I want to apologize because that's not who we are and that's not what we're about. And the other one was saying, well, I wish he had pushed our girl. Really? Really, Kim? Come on now. Hey, we got to do a better job of holding her accountable because we let stuff I don't. But this is really my first time having an opportunity to have a discussion about Kim Mulkey. And she says and does a lot of things that rub me the wrong way. And I'm not going to apologize for being as harsh and as stern as I am because of the way what she had to say yesterday.